No matter how many end up getting released, I will always enjoy playing a new arcade beat-em-up game, and there's a new one called Raging Justice now available. But is this game a radical rager, or is it more like an injustice if you're forced to play this one? Raging Justice is an arcade-style beat-em-up game with up to 2-player local co-op, though unfortunately no online play, and no ability to play as 3 characters at once since there are 3 playable characters. The game is set in an indistinct city, and you're playing as one of these 3 cops trying to stop this gang that's clearly taking over. There are little story bits that are told through just text on the screen, but the story doesn't get in the way of the action. The game is very much a classic arcade-style beat-em-up game you would have seen back in any 90s arcade. The game has a kind of rough look to it, and kind of mimics the digitized actor look of early 90s arcade games like Mortal Kombat, Pit Fighter, or the not-so-classic Guardians of the Hood, which honestly this game reminds me the most of, though this game is much better than that one. The game is very pick up and play. Controls are pretty simple. You punch and kick as well as a jump, and then the grapple button. Pressing the punch and kick buttons together will do a special move, though it does drain a little bit of your health. Being someone who's played a lot of beat-em-ups and speedrun quite a few, one thing I love about the game is that the special move, even though it drains your health, if you're at 0 health, you can keep doing the move, and this allows for a bit of strategy. Do you just let your health drain so that you can keep doing your special attack? Unfortunately though, the special attack doesn't do a ton of damage, so it's only moderately helpful. Along with your fist and feet, there's plenty of weapons that you'll find scattered throughout the levels. This includes sledgehammers, baseball bats, bottles, knives, and even guns that you'll be able to use to help you beat up the enemies. A lot of times these even have special effects, like using a baseball bat to knock somebody into the background. Since you are playing as a team of cops, one thing cool in the game is you're able to arrest your enemies. If you end up dizzying them, the stars over their head, you can grapple them and arrest them, and once they disappear off screen, they end up rewarding you with an instant health item. This is essential when you get farther into the game playing on the harder difficulties to make sure you're able to stay alive. The only problem I have with it is that the grapple button as well as the pick up items button is the same one, no way to remap them, and constantly I ended up finding myself picking up a weapon when all I wanted to do was arrest an enemy at a key moment. Along with just beating the levels, there's also a set of extra challenges for you to complete. At the beginning of a stage, you'll have a list of extra goals that you can complete as well, which just adds a little bit of replayability to try to complete them all. The game isn't extremely long, it's pretty much your average beat-em-up game length, and that way it doesn't end up overstaying its welcome, though honestly, of course, I wish there was a bit more here, though there are 3 difficulties at least, and there's also the Brawl mode, which basically works as a horde mode where you enter into a level and your goal is to see if you're able to survive while taking on wave after wave of enemies. At the end of each one of the levels, there is a boss encounter. Honestly though, they were kinda generic for the most part. Only the final boss really, I thought, stood out in any real way. The best part about Raging Justice though is its combat. It's very satisfying to jump from one fight to another, building up a big combo, quickly grabbing one enemy, throwing them across the screen to take out a few more, and at the same time knock a dynamite stick out of the air that ends up blowing up and taking out more enemies. Sometimes you end up having a lot of people fighting you at one time, so when you have these really cool moments, the game ends up really shining. Unfortunately though, there isn't a lot of variety when it comes to the combat, the bosses, and especially the enemies and level design. All the levels are relatively generic, and for the most part so are the enemy designs, and there's only a few types of enemies you fight throughout the entire game. From the technical side of things though, the game ran smoothly. I didn't run into any major glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. Raging Justice is available now on the PS4 for $14.99, and it does feature a Platinum trophy. The game is also available on the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Overall, Raging Justice has great combat that can be very rewarding when you end up getting it down and pull off some great combos. The game just lacks a lot when it comes to the variety department, length, extras, just really anything to make sure that you're going to be playing for hours and hours. With everything said, I'm going to be giving Raging Justice a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.